Hi, I am going to try to talk to you about why this election matters so much to me. So, recently, my family shipped a series of statues to me in Florida that came with a lot of personal effects of my own that have been squirreled away in my parents' house, which they are now tearing down and rebuilding. Inside the boxes that were sent to me of old things, I found a letter written to me from a friend back in college. I had forgotten that this letter existed. She was on winter break with her family. We were in our early 20s. And she described in this letter an acute sadness that she felt watching her parents dance and just sort of observing their relationship. They were at a Christmas ball. They were laughing together. She was there with her brother. And her parents had this kind of long-term loving relationship that so many people want to emulate and that yearn to have themselves. So, 40-year-old Tana is surprised to read about how this 20 something friend of mine, even back then, knew so clearly what she wanted her life to be. She told me in this letter that someday she wanted to have kids, that having a family like this, like her parents, was bringing her deep sadness because she would never have that. She's gay, and raising children with some future wife, having a loving and committed and federally recognized partnership, these were experiences that she knew she would never have. And it made her really sad, even when she was 20. There was this ache. The letter was written in 1999. I came out in 1999. And so the idea of living my life as an out lesbian was still new to me. It was this really foreign and scary idea. I did not know many gay people. There was no idea of what a gay future would be. I was not thinking about marriage. I was not thinking about kids. And to be clear, she was not talking about having kids with me or anything. She was just sort of meditating on her life and what was possible for her. So I get this letter, and it's 1999 that it's written, and it's so sad. And I start thinking about gay marriage, and I start thinking about where we are right now, which feels in the year 2020 so far away from 1999. But I'm tracking it. In 2000, Vermont institutes the first civil unions. And I remember this. I was in college in Boston, and there was a big to-do about it. Gay people, much older than I, were making pilgrimages to Vermont to get married, to finally have this validation of their lifelong partners. Many of them elderly, some of them young. I had a softball coach that got married in Vermont, I think, of course. But there's this palpable buzz in the gay community about what this might mean, about what civil unions might mean. That same year, in California, we think of California as a lefty liberal bastion, Proposition 22 passes at the state level, which outlaws gay marriage. The language that they use in this is very specific. Quote, only marriage between a man and a woman is valid or recognized in California. Nevada voters also voted against gay rights, passing a constitutional amendment that defined marriage as the union of one man and one woman. And by 2002, Mississippi, several other states would do similar things, banning, specifically in their state constitutions, banning gay marriage. By 2002, Mississippi would introduce the Federal Marriage Amendment, trying to amend the Constitution of the United States to narrowly define marriage as the union between one man and one woman, trying to prevent the extension of rights of marriage to unmarried persons and to gay people. By 2003, I had just graduated from college. My home state decided at the Supreme Court level that gay marriage would be allowed and that licenses would begin to be issued in May of 2004. And I still remember the build-up, May of 2004, the build-up to Memorial Day weekend that year was crazy. People were legally getting married in Massachusetts right before this big party weekend. And it was amazing. There was this hopeful note, but there was also blowback. President George Bush called for a ban, quote, defining and protecting marriage as a union of one man and one woman as husband and wife. and wanted to do that to amend the United States Constitution to forbid us from getting married. New York, New Jersey, San Francisco, Oregon, one specific clerk in Sandoval County, New Mexico, they all begin issuing marriage licenses. But California, their Supreme Court rules that the licenses issued in San Francisco would now be invalid. So some people got married, but then the state comes in and says, no, that doesn't count. But for a while it counted, but now it doesn't count. New Mexico did the same thing. In Oregon, they muddied the water even more by ruling that, okay, the 3,000 marriage licenses that had been issued are valid, but from now on they wouldn't be. And could the state legislature please create the equivalent of marriage like civil unions or something just for same-sex couples? It was a total mess. And we, gay people like me, were in the teeth of it. Again and again, my right to marry the person I love was voted on at the state level, and time and time again, that vote came back with a resounding no, you're not allowed to. Even in California, all across the United States. On November 2nd, 2004, voters in Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Michigan, Mississippi, Montana, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Utah all approve constitutional amendments defining marriage as the union of one man and one woman. Also, in 2004, November 2nd, Dick Cheney and George Bush get reelected. So it's not looking good for your gay neighbors. There's all this gay panic. That's not that long ago, you guys. Eventually, it's 2015, and the Supreme Court of the United States, in the Obergefell versus Hodges case, rules in favor of same-sex marriage, and it gets passed at the federal level. A lot of things came before this. A lot of small victories, hard-won victories, including the time a Democrat and a Republican teamed up in a landmark civil rights case. But all of this stuff comes together to, at the federal level, approve same-sex marriage. But it doesn't become the law of the land really until 2015. And the dissenting opinion, that was 5 years ago, the dissenting opinion against gay marriage was written by Chief Justice Roberts himself. And Justices Scalia and Thomas joined him. The Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court does not think that same-sex marriage should be allowed. 3 Supreme Court justices have been stolen from the Democrats, from the party that upholds my right to marry the person that I love and to have the same rights and benefits as straight couples. And now we have Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died, and they're stuffing Amy Coney Barrett through, who does not believe in gay marriage. And we also have Kavanaugh the rapist. Gay rights, this fight for gay rights has been alive for as long and fiercely debated for as long as I have been an out gay person. Like, the day I came out was the day we started dealing with this shit in a very real way. And the dream my friend had back in 1999, watching her parents dance at Christmas and looking at that relationship and thinking, I'll never have that. I'll never have children of my own. I can't marry the person I love. I have to live in secret for the rest of my life and not have this. She's now happily married to her wife, and they have 2 kids. But all that can go away. All that changed so quickly, and all of that can go away. And I care so much about that. So if you care about me, if you care about the gay people in your life, if you care about a balanced court, if you care about checks and balances, if you care about doing something good for someone that you love, vote for Biden and Harris. Vote for Democrats. Because the Democrats are passing laws that protect me. And the Republicans are putting Supreme Court justices in place that do not. Get out and vote.